I created this image in Corel Draw standalone, but the tool I want to talk about is available in your art canvas, and that is the Distort Tool, and that's found here below the Crop tool, which you may have as a knife or an eraser here below the alphabet tool. So you've got the Crop tool, and then below there's a flyout menu with your blend vector, contour, and the third one along is the Distort tool. So we'll have that activated, ready to use, so I can show you how to use it. Now, the reason I used that was because I wanted to create some nice wiggly lines, but I'm not all that good at steadily drawing wiggly lines the way I like them. So this tool is very helpful in helping you do that. And I'll demonstrate it by creating just a straight line first. So I'm going to use my pen tool. I'm going to make my first click, and I'm going to hold my shift key down so that I can control the angle of this line. So I can go in a straight line at any of these set angles. So I'm going to go vertically so you can see what's going on, and it's quite a long line. I'll left click again. If I double clicked, it would have ended the line. I can release my shift key now, or I can also enter to complete the line. Now, to apply the Distort tool, all you need to do is activate it, and it's because the object was selected, that's the object that's going to be distorted. Now, you can distort it manually by clicking on the line and creating the tool, which I'll show you in a minute, or you can use the menu items up here, and the one I'm showing you today is the zipper distortion. So I'll activate that. Next along here is the amplitude of the distortion, so that's how big the distortion is going to be, and in this case it's saying the teeth of the sawtooth effect. You'll see in a moment what that means. I'm going to leave that for the moment and move on to the zipper frequency, which is the number of teeth this distortion is going to have. So the number of bends, you can see mine are smooth, they're not like teeth, and I'll show you how to do that too. So I'm going to increase this to 5, and then then you will see that there are extra nodes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nodes between the start and the end, and there's also a tool here, which, as I said, you can do this all manually, but you can also enter it up here. So we can change the amplitude by increasing it or decreasing it, and the higher number you go, the bigger the zigzag will be. Now you can see that the tool is actually expanding as we do that, so you can manually grab this tool and increase the amplitude or decrease it as you wish. Okay, now there's another tool in here too, which is the number of teeth. So that's that frequency. So you can see that's gone up to 34 now up here, instead of the 5 that I had. So let's just decrease that right back. So it's now 8. 8 will do. So you can set that up here manually, numerically, or you can play around with the tool. You can also move this tool up or down, and it will move the teeth and distort those by depending on where you put the tool. Now you can also have these options here, which are, the first one is randomize the distortion. So if I click on that, it creates more random teeth, and if I move this up and down, it will randomize it. Now this can be set anywhere, so depending on where you sit this, you will get different appearances here too. So you can play around with this to your heart's delight till you get a line that you like. The next option here is the smooth distortion, and that's how you get rid of the sharp points. You get all sorts of lovely smooth distortions. And the last option is the localized distortion. If I click on that, depending on where I put this tool, I will get more distortion in that area and less at the ends. So if I put it right on the line and I increase the distortion, I can start to get a lovely random line. So it's a lovely tool to play around with. I can also add a new distortion here, so I can have more than one distortion on the same line. So if I click on that, I need to left click and drag at the place where I want the new distortion. Now it will take on all the figures that I had here, so if I want to reduce that new distortion to a lot less nodes, I can, and the amplitude and so forth, or I can play around with the manual settings. I can copy the distortion properties and apply them to another line, or I can clear the distortion. So if I clear that second one, I'm back to my single distortion. Okay, so there's a tool you can play around with a lot. There is one caveat though. This distortion is not convertible by the convert tool, and I'll show you that. So I shall delete that one because I've used the distortion on this image here, and so I'm going to select and delete that object, and I'm going to select my image and hit the convert tool, and you will see when we convert that a lot of things happen. Apart from it missing some of the color blocks in here, and some of the outlines haven't completed here, the main issue is that the distortion can't be read. So the stamens on the flower have been shortened to short little stubby lines. I just moved that, so I'll undo. And my stem has been reduced to a short little stubby line. So all that work making that beautiful line was wasted if I wanted to use the convert tool. But what I can do is undo that and go back to the image, and I can select the whole image and I can convert it to a bitmap. And the reason I would do that rather than just go through to embroidery canvas and use this as a background and trace all over it is that if it's converted to a bitmap, I can use the auto digitizing tools to digitize some of this automatically. You'll see in a minute you'll still need to do some manual digitizing, but it does speed it up. So let's go up here to the bitmaps option and convert to a bitmap. I'm leaving it 300 dpi. I want RGB color 24-bit. I don't want anti-aliasing. The transparent background is fine, and go OK. So now I've got a bitmap. Now I can go through to embroidery canvas. I could try and convert that too, but because this video is only short, I'm not going to show you that. It's a mess. It doesn't convert very well. It does try a bit better than the vector graphic, but it still doesn't convert very well. So let's just go through to embroidery canvas and go into our auto digitizing, and we'll use the magic wand. If I used the instant auto digitize or the auto digitize, I would get a very similar effect to just converting. So I'm going to go to the magic wand where I've got a little bit more control, and I need to convert the picture first. Ready? So I left click on there. It's telling me that it's reduced the number of colors to 8. And what that means is it's dropped out some of the colours. The two colours it dropped out was the alternate colour in the top of the leaf here, and the outline of this blue area has changed to purple, the same as this one. So that's not too bad. I'm going with that just for the sake of the video, so we'll go OK. And now I can use the magic wand. So I could left click on here, and that will fill with a fill stitch. Now if you look, it's actually filled right to the edge, so that's okay, but it has kind of left little dents where the stamens will go. It should be all right though. I'm just trying to see. It seems to have a fairly smooth edge. Let's hide the image and see. You see here it's left little gaps, but they're so tiny that the stamens will cover that, so you won't get any overstitching, but I'm actually going to remove that later and make it one complete area without even a hole. But let's bring the image back, because what I really wanted to show you was converting the actual lines, and for that I'm going to use my magic wand center line, and I'm going to make sure I get those stamens, and there they are. And I'm going to do this stem. Now the stem, when I get it, you can see it does all the lines on the leaves too, and you can see that it's actually made a black area here on the on the leaves. And if I hide the image, I don't like this very much. So this is an area where I would manually digitize. But the stamens came out quite well. So it's a matter of using all the different options you have available to you to get the best result. I'm going to do this whole flower as a little mini course, so comment below if you'd be interested in doing the mini course, and then I can contact you later and let you know when it's ready. Or if you're interested in any of my other courses, just visit my online courses page on my website to see what's there.